See, it is 26 past 10 a.m. New Zealand Standard Time, and it's also 11 degrees downtown. One more degree and the weatherman wins. Really, it's not the nicest of days, I've got to be very honest with you. But it is Friday, 18th of July. I tell you what, we better do this. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and so very, very nice to have you. Tell you what, if you go and have a look at the bottom there, you'll find, sub, thumb, and bell. Why not take part in that? Yeah, bell notifications when we have important people, much like Rick Revel today. Believe me, I'm very excited about this. Sub, you know what to do with that? Yeah, subscribe, become part of the family. We call it the noise here at Galaxy, simply because, well, you're loud, and we hear every one of you. We really, really do. And we try our best to cover it all. We really do. The thummy thing? Yeah, go on. Get epileptic with it. So let's get right into it this morning. Here, joining us live today is Rick Revel. He is an American Jenny. Yeah. So that gives us a minute or two.
Yeah, and I pronounce it Revel.
Revel, okay.
Revel. It's and if you look it up in the dictionary, it's a revel is actually a musical celebration. But that was my name I was born with, and so that's kind of how I go by Revel. It's also relates to being rebellious, but I just stick with the revel as being a musical celebration.
Fair enough. Well, sorry for mispronouncing it.
That's all right. We didn't discuss it beforehand.
Yeah, no, honestly, we're Kiwis. We just, as we see it, we'll read it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
And even though I was born in America, I was brought up here, unfortunately. So please forgive me for, my small discretions.
Did you say it was 11 degrees?
It's
what did you
10.7 degrees
Celsius.
Oh, okay.
I think that's close to about 30 plus degrees Fahrenheit, 40 degrees, something like that. It's cold. It's not the warmest.
It's pretty chilly.
Yeah.
In July, it's cold in July.
We in the winter time here. You guys are in the summer, right?
Right.
Yeah, so believe me.
They're a season behind us.
They're a season behind us. Yeah, everything's behind us. Yeah. We're the first ones to see the light of day every day. So even Australia hates that one. It really does. You know what it's like with ice hockey between America and Canada. You know how you have that rivalry. Right. New Zealand and Australia have the same deal with rugby union.
Gotcha. I got you.
One day they might actually win a game. It's been about 37 years, but one day.
World Cup next year.
The World Cup next year. Oh, we'll get sconed again. Literally, last time it was jacked up because all the refs were paid off. The All Blacks are the best in the world, and well. It was a big bundle last time. Anyway. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and today we're talking to Rick Revel. Did I get it right this time, Rick?
Well, no.
No? Hey, I gave it a go.
But I think it's the lag between time zones. It's Rick Revel. It's Revel.
Revel.
Kind of like Rebel, but just with a V.
Yeah, like a rebel with a V. There you go.
Yeah.
Rick, welcome to Galaxy. It's nice to meet you, sir.
Yes, sir. Nice to be with you, brother.
Now, whereabouts exactly are you today?
I'm at my home on a farm near Henry, Tennessee. Henry, Tennessee, being named after Patrick Henry, one of our founding fathers. And I'm living actually in the house where I was born and raised. So living out on the family farm.
Very, very cool. I can't say that I'm
a true country boy.
You're lucky. You really, really are. Believe me, I'd love to be still in the house that I was with my parents, but that was many, many moons ago, and lots of rivers have gone under that bridge since then, you know what I mean? So, yeah,
Yes.
I know the value of the family home. I really do. Having said that, my friend, we opened up the show with An American Journey.
Yes.
I think it would be remiss of me if I didn't say, tell me all about this track.
American Journey, I put it out back in the early 2000s. I wanted to actually take people. I do George Washington. I do a lot of historical characters.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted a song that would open up the show. And before I go into full character, I wanted to have a song. So I would normally sing 4 or 5 songs, but this would be the song that would start the show, An American Journey. And that's literally what I tried to do, was take people on a journey back in time to our founding, and then kind of advance through time from there and take them forward. But what I mentioned while we was off air, I went on the bicentennial wagon train, wound up at Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, where George Washington and his men were encamped for several months, and the war was not looking good for him. He thought he had lost, and he was staying at the Potts house, and there's a famous picture, a portrait of him kneeling by a stump and praying. And when I was there working in the Valley Forge area after the bicentennial wagon train, I asked one of the park rangers, could he show me the location of that stump? He did so. He left me to roam around on my own. And as I did, I heard a voice that said, tell my story. And so at a very young age, I kind of got that calling to tell America's story, and kind of been doing that ever since. Kind of got off to a slow start as a teenager in my 20s also, because you're focused on other things. I was in Nashville working and involved with Loretta Lynn's publishing company, so I had a lot of things like that going. But as I got older, I wanted to literally get to that point of telling America's story through song as well as acting. So that's where that song came from. I wrote it as an opener for my show.
That's fascinating. Is the stump still there?
It's not. I don't even think you can find an evidence of it there now. Then you can see like a root trail and see just kind of the hollow point of where the stump was, but I doubt you can find any evidence of it now. And the park ranger kind of had to walk around and say, oh, I think it's over there. He was one of the older park rangers at the time, and he was able to show me where he felt that the stump was. And so I had a chance to go to that location. So it's just, to be where history took place, it gives me chills. It really does.
I absolutely understand that. I really, really do. I love and I'm fascinated by not only myth, but history itself. You know what I mean? I like to try and unravel myth, make the truth out of myth, because somewhere in a myth there is a bit of truth.
Yes, it's true.
And
it's true.
Just got to pick away at that and get to it. But it's so much better if you're actually on site at the same time, getting in the ambience of everything. Believe me, I'm fully envious of you taking advantage of that moment. I really, really am. So well done. And I'm very, very envious about your thespian career. Actually, you've got quite the career as an actor, and being able to portray history itself. So very, very cool. That's very, very, very good. Hard Times in the Deep South. Tell me about this, because believe me, I'm absolutely loving this track.
Well, Hard Times in the Deep South actually goes back a little piece I've got two songs that Son of a Moonshiner and Hard Times goes back to my teenage years. Oddly enough, I had written these songs early on. I've written over 1,500 songs, and so I wanted some things. I wanted to dig out some of my old stuff, kind of do a rewrite, kind of buff it up a little bit. And the Hard Times was a song that I had written as a little more straight on blues. And when I got to recording in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, I wanted to give it just a tad more of that southern rock feel. And so we turned it more to a blues rock, almost to Stevie Ray Vaughan, Leonard Skinner. So I wanted to do that. I play harmonica. And so I wanted it to have that drive. But I also wanted the lyrics to kind of tell a piece of a story. And I always, no matter where I go, people come up to me and say, well, you look like so-and-so, and you look like so-and-so. And so I've been around people that had the mistaken identity thing happen. And so I wanted to take it, and I had a friend that, got his lights knocked out one time because of mistaken identity at a bar. And I'm not really a bar guy. I don't hold it against people who are, but I write about life. I've never had a sip of moonshine, and I wrote a thing about the Son of a Moonshiner. But this whole thing about hard times in the deep south, and I've never been to jail. But in Mississippi, where the story takes place, they still have hard time prisons where they'll throw a chain gang together and send them out on a chain gang. That's one of just their thing there in Mississippi. And so I wanted to come up with a song that would actually talk about those things. And I spent a lot of time in Natchez, in that area. So that's where I wanted it to focus, in Natchez, which the blues, there's some big blues players that come from the area. Y.Z. Ely and some of his brothers. There is a historical marker, once again, history, there in the Natchez, Mississippi area, talking about the Ely group. And so I had a chance to work with Y.Z. some. So I wanted the song to have that flavor, attract attention to Natchez. But it's a hard luck story. Here's a guy goes to a bar, and he's there. He's wanting to go home. He's had a conversation with his wife. His job, he actually lives in Tennessee. He's gone to Natchez to work. That's a thing in the South. A lot of times you can't find work at home. You have to get hooked up with a construction crew and go work somewhere else. So that's what he done. And mistaken identity, he gets his lights knocked out. He resists. He fights back. He gets in jail. And once he winds up in jail, he finds out the guy he punched out was the local judge's son. So it goes downhill from there. So yeah, it's a very fun song. But I love the harmonica. The harmonica part actually got me nominated for Musician of the Year in the Josie Music Awards. I was also in the ISSA Awards, but the Josie, I'm up for Musician of the Year, and it's for the harmonica part on this song. Pretty cool.
Very, very cool. And yes, we know a few people involved with the Josies. We really do. So good luck with that. And
yes.
Right now, you're being joined by myself and Rick Revel. Going to get it right sooner or later. Here's Hard Times in the Deep South. I'm going to be doing it soon too.
Now, Nick's tuned in and he said it's a very interesting interview.
Who is?
Nick.
Oh, Nick.
On the radio.
He's
enjoying it. So.
That's our foreign correspondent coming out of the UK. He's also one of our critics, so he's very, very cool. He is. We love Nick. We really do. He's such a cool dude. We introduced him to a guy coming out of Nashville, but his name was Ridge Banks. All right?
Okay.
And at the time, Nick says to me, hey, listen, could you introduce me to Ridge Banks? And I says, well, bro, you're in Leicestershire in the UK, and he's in Nashville. He goes, yeah, but I'm going to the United States, so, I might just drop in and say hello. So, okay, well, we introduced him. What do you know? He turns up at a gig that Ridge was doing. Before you know it, they've formed a band, even though they're in two different countries, sending bits and pieces across the interwebby thing, now in the next month or two, I think they're doing a tour throughout the UK. And they...
Yeah, the power of the internet.
Yeah, and they blame me for this. I just did what was asked of me. But they're really cool dudes. They really are. So,
well, if you're going to get the blame for something, maybe at least if it's something good, then it's not bad to have the blame for it. But if it's something bad, run fast.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, plead no knowledge. I'll take the piss.
Right.
Barbara and I.
Claim ignorance. Claim ignorance. Yes.
Here's one for you. Barbara and I, about 2.5 years ago, we went to India, right? Well, the night before going to India, I decided to hook up with a couple of my mates at the local pub and just have a few beers and say hooray. And as we came out of the nightclub we were in, my mate says, "I'll race you to the taxi." And he went to the right and I went to the left, right? And I get to the taxi stand, there's a taxi there, no sign of him, and it would have taken about the same amount of time to get there. Anyway, I get in the taxi, go home, pick up Barbara, we go to the airport, hop in a plane. About halfway across Australia, I get a text from him going, "You're never going to guess what happened to me." And I went, "No idea, what happened?" He goes, "Well, as I left you and went around, I went down this alleyway. And this girl popped out of this doorway in the middle of the night and she goes, 'Business?' So I'm texting him back and going, 'What did you do?' He goes, 'Well, of course.' So we hopped into this car and away we were going until a policeman shone a light in the bloody window. And I went, 'Now what?' And he goes, 'Well, the policeman says, what's going on here?' And I went, 'Well, what did you answer?' He goes, 'I'm having sex with my wife.' The policeman says, 'Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realise that.' And he goes, 'Neither did I until you shone the light in here.'"
Brave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got 30 seconds. I got that one in really quickly.
Did you read that, what Nick said?
This song, Deep South, is a Cindy's Glamour Rock. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and today, believe me, Rick is joining us, and so's Nick by the looks of it. He says there, the song Deep South has a 70s glamour rock drum pattern. Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic, Nick, it really is. And believe me, Rick, you're getting a huge following here at Galaxy since we've been playing you. Everybody really appreciates the music that you're bringing out. But I got to ask you, and I've just been asked by a young lady coming out of Tennessee. She's saying, and her name is Pippa, how does a fan get hold of you? Are you on all the medias and do you respond?
Ask again. You broke up.
How does a fan get hold of you? Are you on all the medias, you know, Facebook, X, and are you a talker? But do you respond?
You can find me on Facebook. You can find me all over the internet. My website is simply rickrevel.com. My music channel, music website is rickrevelmusic.com. So I kept it real easy. Just type in my name, rickrevel.com, rickrevelmusic.com. Same on Facebook. I'm Rick Revel Mr. History on YouTube because of my history background. They call me Rick Revel Mr. History. That actually came from Hank Williams Jr.'s manager, Merle Kilgore. He gave me that nickname or that title as Mr. History. So that's I have several. It's odd how people tag me with different nicknames and things like that. So I've collected half a dozen of those little names that get stuck with me like that. But Mr. History fits, and I like it. It's fun. But I do have a YouTube channel, so you can find me all over the web. It's kind of interesting if you're there on. It really doesn't matter which search engine you have. Just type in Rick Revel, RickRevel, and boom, it pops up and you'll find me. Not a whole lot of people out there named Rick Revel. You'll find one or two others. There's a actual film producer, oddly enough, another film producer out there. I do produce films too, and he is located in out in the Hollywood area. Then there is a Revel down in Louisiana that's a musician. But there's not a lot of other Revels out there. So we're kind of that oddball name.
Now, Rick, at the same time, I got a guy called Neil and a guy called Robert coming out of Victoria Falls. They want to know, have you got a merch store? How do we buy caps, koozies, and all the goodies?
Yeah, if you go to, if you want to get some of my merchandise, you go to the rickrevel.com. There is a store on there. If you want to download some of my music, go to Bandcamp. I'm on Bandcamp, so if you want to download some of my music, if you have Spotify and Apple and all those, you can find me there. On the plaques behind me, the Father of the Blues and Muscle Shoals Sound, those two songs, they've done real well on Spotify. Matter of fact, the Father of the Blues right now is past 450,000, and hopefully for long, if we hit that 500,000 mark, I think that kind of qualifies you for a gold recognition. So we're trying to push for that. But the album as a whole is 750, 60,000, something like that. It's growing, so may get a something for the whole album sometime. But it's without your fans, without people like yourself pushing my music, playing my music, I can't build a fan base because, I'm an independent. I don't have the big budget that Sony Records will put behind it or Universal. So I'm out there just throwing pennies. It's kind of like spitting in the wind. But I keep pushing, and I'm very thankful for you and Barbara and all those that keep playing my music. That's what it takes. And, for those listeners out there, calling in requests, sending a text or typing in your requests to the stations that are playing our music, and let us know if you watch our videos on YouTube. We're on Vivo also. So if you watch our music videos on Vivo, send us a message. I want to know where you are and tell them what country you're in, because it's exciting to see people all over the world loving this type of music. And to classify it, it's hard. I'm up for Artist of the Year in the multi-genre, and that's what makes it hard, is because I do country, outlaw country. I'm a real traditionalist, so all my music has traditional feel. So it's outlaw country, blues, southern rock, and you add, and I do some Christian music. So you put all this together, and so it's just a multi-genre. Sometimes it comes under the blanket of Americana, but if you like good traditional music, that's what we try to deliver.
Absolutely love it. And I'm going to ask you now, History Highway. This is a great, great track. Give me the skinny on this one.
You like that's my theme song for my TV show. So okay. You really like the song?
I do. I really do.
It's got a groove. Let me tell you, I'll make a story short. That's how I wound up recording in Muscle Shoals. Friend of mine, John David Thompson, he said my wife's aunt married Jimmy Johnson, who produced Lynyrd Skynyrd, and I want you to meet Jimmy Johnson. So we set up an appointment. As luck would have it, Jimmy winds up getting injured and winds up dying. He's in his elder years. He dies. I don't get to meet him. And so John David calls me and he says, Becky still wants to meet you. And it's just about 6 months later, Jimmy passes. And he said that she's very sorry she didn't get to meet you and you didn't get to meet Jimmy, but she still wants you to come to Muscle Shoals. So January of 2020, I went down to Muscle Shoals, and we were riding around. She wanted to give me the grand tour. She wanted to take me to the studio where Lynyrd Skynyrd had cut Sweet Home Alabama, and Jimmy was the producer. She wanted to take me and introduce me to all these people. So we're riding around this van, and I had a CD with me, and I said, I want you to listen to the theme song of my TV show, History Highway, that I'm trying to promote and push. and we stuck it in the CD player, played it, and her eyes got big, and she threw her hands up, and she stopped the music, and I thought, oh, I'm in trouble. She hates it. And I said, what's wrong? She says, oh, she said, if Jimmy heard this song, he'd say this song has bone. And I said, man, what's that mean? It's got bone. Oh, he would say if he thought it was a hit, he'd say that song has bone because it's good to the bone. No matter who sings it, it's going to be a hit. And I said, but that's the theme song to my TV show. She says, no, I want to take you over to meet Billy Lawson at Wishbone Studio. So we went over to Wishbone, we played this song, and that's how I wound up with Billy Lawson as my producer to help me produce this album. And it's just the theme song for my show, but buddy, it rocks. It's got that, oh man, it makes you want to get in the car and drive. And that's what I wanted in the song.
Yeah.
So I'm playing the harmonica and guitar on it, and another friend's playing some lead guitar on it. I'm playing the piano on it. I'm not a huge piano player, but I do stuff like in the studio. Anyway, we have fun with it. That's what I always try to do, is have fun with my music.
Well, I got to be honest with you, Rick. I've actually added it to my playlist in my car. I absolutely love it. Here's Rick.
I'm honored.
Here's Rick Revel and History Highway. Yeah, true story. I have. I've put it in my playlist. I don't change my playlist often. I really don't. But that one's in there, Rick. It is.
It's a fluke. It was just a fluke. And when we first put it together, the guy that was helping me at the time, Ken Andrus, and we did it in his little studio just for the TV show. And I told him, I said, I want to eventually make a song out of it, because we did it in two halves. We did and it was supposed to be the opening, the first minutes for the opening part of the billboard that starts the show, and then I wanted the part that closes the show. So I said, basically, we have two verses and a chorus, and then repeat the chorus. So the wonderful thing about digital recording, I was able to splice it, put it all together, and made an entire song out of basically the opening and closing of the TV show. But it's a fun piece. It really rocks.
It is. I love it. I really, really do.
If you ever get a chance, watch the TV show. It's on Roku, and there's a couple of samples there on Mystery History on YouTube. But I've got 30 some odd episodes on my AME TV channel. So.
Okay, I will. How many countries are tuned in?
We haven't got a couple tonight.
164 countries are tuned in right now. And cities? How many cities?
That's good.
6219.
Okay, 6,219 cities at the moment.
Oh, that's nothing. That's good, brother.
It's not
Wait,
bad.
That's handsome. That's handsome. That's what that is. That's good stuff.
Wait until I tell you how many IP addresses are tuned in at the end of this.
Wow. You're making me blush, brother. This is good.
I love the peely out at the end of it. I really, really do. That's cool. And today, of course, we're talking to Rick Revel. And, well, Rick, you've been around for a little bit now. You've been around for a minute. And believe me, you've had a very, very illustrious career over the years. You've also been Entertainer of the Year with a very, very illustrious lady singer. I don't know whether it's kosher of me to be able to say her name or not, to be very honest with you. But, you know, what a wonderful artist she's been over the years as well. She's going to be very, very much missed in the country movement.
Yes. If you're referring to Loretta.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know, all very, very humbly, may I say, you know, Uh, having Loretta make you sandwiches as a kid, that must have been fantastic.
Well, it is interesting. On the bicentennial wagon train, and that's the reason I brought it up earlier. That's where I met Mooney Lynn, her husband, and he heard me singing around the campfire. And that was something I did every night. I rode in the Louisiana State, or the Louisiana State wagon, whichever you want to call it. Boo Doo was the teamster. He was the former bronc champion of Louisiana. I mean, all these are colorful characters. Just my life is decorated with colorful characters. It's just amazing. He said, as long as I played my guitar and entertained him while he drove the team of mules down the road, and the catch was I had to also help feed and take care of the mules. He said, as long as I did that I'd have a place to stay. So I slept in the Louisiana State wagon. And then at nighttime, after I finished all my chores, I eventually started working for the chow wagon, the cook bus, to earn my keep and so I could be fed. So I worked my way. I worked my way all the way from Memphis, Tennessee to Valley Forge. I didn't want handouts. I wanted to earn my keep. Then at night I'd play around the campfire, and a lot of times they'd pass the hat, literally pass the hat, and I'd make tips from that. But Mooney kept showing up at the campfire, and a lot of the people that liked my music would say, "Hey, Mooney, come over." So he would just stand there in the campfire light. He would stand up 2 or 3 people back and just talk. And as he talked, he listened to the music. Well, we wound up in Nashville at Percy Priest Park. And he arranged for Loretta to sing there. So when we got there, he said, "I want you to meet Mama." So that's what everybody kind of called her. And so I met Mama that night. And of course, it was kind of the, come see me after the wagon train's up. Well, I did. As this was in 1976, 1977, we had a reunion at Loretta Lynn's ranch. I was there. I was hired to become the entertainment manager, and then it all kind of snowballed from there. I got to know Loretta real well. She would come and listen to me sing around the campfire at night when she's at home. And eventually she took me up to her house, and Mooney was sitting there looking through his binoculars. He raised Belgian horses, Belgian mules actually, and he's looking out his big plate glass bay window at the horses in a field not far from the house. And he was doing that, and she said, "Dude, you want a ham sandwich?" And she looked over at me and said, "You want a ham sandwich?" So she fixed us both a ham sandwich. Yeah. And she began talking to me then about, "Hey, you want to go out on the road with me?" So I wound up, after the ranch closed for the winter time, we would basically be open from Memorial Day to Labor Day. And then she took me on the road with her, and boy, that was the baptism by fire. I had a chance to open the show for her. I had all my guitar and everything with me, and we got up to Elmira, New York, and her business manager came back to me, along with Jim Webb, which was the bus driver, and they both said, "Hey, Mama wants you to open the show tonight." I said, "What?" "Yeah, she wants you to open the show." And I said, "Okay." So I did, and that was the night we went back to the bus. After we got done with the show, and I had done some crazy stuff. There was a Japanese photographer, go figure. There was a Japanese photographer there, and before I walked out on stage, I had donned the lead man of her band hold my guitar. But I went out and I borrowed the Japanese guy's his camera, and I went around taking everybody's picture as if I was a photographer and just a shutterbug. So I'm going around the stage taking everybody's picture, and after they'd already called my name, then I walk up to the microphone and said, "Oh, I guess I need to sing now, huh?" And so I hand off the camera to the Japanese guy, and off we go. Loretta's just slapping her knee, laughing at all the crazy stuff I'm doing and goofy stuff. And so we get back to the bus that night after the show, and that's when she said, "Honey, you're an entertainer's entertainer." I said, "What's that mean?" And she said, "Well, I'm an entertainer, and you entertained me." And at that time, she was Entertainer of the Year. So I was like, "Okay, I'll take it." That's what that one got stamped on me back then.
That is so, so cool. It really, really is. Now, you were mentioning the Josie Awards. Now, a friend of ours literally has won about 13, maybe about 14, 15 by now. Her name is Michelle Lee, and she was contracted by Popcorn Sutton's wife to do a song, you know, pretty much about moonshine and about Popcorn Sutton.
Right.
I actually said to her, you know, have you got any of Popcorn's recipe? And she says, it's hard to come by. I says, yes, I know. I know it's hard to come by, but she did send me some original popcorn recipe in a hip flask. Now, foolish me, all right? Now, I'm thinking, all right, next time we catch up, we'll have a little toddy together and celebrate popcorn. So we did get together, and she says, have you got it? And I says, yes, I do. So I go and grab it, put it in the, in the shot glass that she included with it, literally, and she says to her husband at the time, go and get mine out of the freezer. I'm saying, hey, hold on, out of the freezer? And she goes, oh, yeah, it's got to be cold. I went, well, I just picked it up off the shelf. She goes, oh, and you've opened it? I says, it's in the shot glass. And by this time, Roger's come back. She's got a jar, right? And she's hooking into this. She go and help you, you know, away we go. And I blew this thing back. And she says, oh, no, you're supposed to sip it. And I says, I've already done it.
Yeah,
Well, I got to be honest with you, Rick. I got tore up from the floor up.
Yep, he did.
Literally. You know, and I spent a lot of time on my back that day with a lot of the staff just absolutely cracking up thinking, you're not going to do that one again, are you?
and that's got to be a stout recipe. Believe it or not, you mentioned popcorn. I just recently, about 2 weeks ago, I was at the Rise Up Con festival there in Pigeon Forge with Kevin Sorbo and who was Hercules.
I know Kevin personally, I do. I was actually on the Hercules series here in New Zealand through Renaissance Pictures.
Yeah. He talked about filming in New Zealand. He sure did. He talked about that. And so I'm there, and on Sunday, I went ahead and left, and I wanted to go to the Museum of Appalachia. And I heard, you know, they had a moonshine still there, and I wanted to film an opening because I'm going to do a piece on History Highway about the history of moonshine in America. Because we actually had a whiskey rebellion right after the Revolutionary War, and basically it was moonshiners. It was people that were distilling spirits, whiskey, at their farms. And so they want to tax it, and so there's a rebellion from that. And the Museum of Appalachia, I went there, and when I come to find out, it was Popcorn Sutton's still. Isn't that cool? And so I got to film the opening of what will be episode probably 33 or 34 there at Popcorn Sutton's still there at the Museum of Appalachia, just north of Pigeon Forge. So it's pretty cool.
That is very, very cool. Are you familiar with the TV show Moonshiners?
Yes, I've seen it. I'm familiar with it.
We've got a couple of friends of ours that actually appear in it. If you know Josh, and of course a couple of other characters as well. Yeah, believe me, we know a few of them in that particular program. Personally, we really, really do.
Jody?
Having said that, that's would you believe, a good segue to come into Son of a Moonshiner. I think you better tell me all about this. Now we've spoken about everything else in moonshine.
Yeah. The quick story behind Son of a Moonshiner, it was one of those songs that I wrote when I was, the basic idea when I was about 16 or 17, and I come from a Southern Baptist family, and so my dad said, son, you know, we're teetotalers, we don't drink, and he said, I really don't think you need to sing that song outside the house. And so I just kind of took that song, put it on a shelf, and didn't ever make it public. And when I started down in Muscle Shoals, I began to meet a lot of interesting people. I met the Dawson family, and the Dawsons had a real interesting history. Have you ever heard of Buford Pusser? Now, Buford Pusser was the movie Walking Tall was made about him. He was the guy that carried the big stick. He was the sheriff from McNairy County. And some of his nemesis, the people that he fought against, was the Dawson family. One of the group was the Dawson family, oddly enough. And so, in the Dawson family, one of them had a son that was 12 years old, and he began running moonshine from Alabama, from north of Florence area, up to McNairy County in Tennessee. So he's running moonshine across Mississippi up into Tennessee at age 12. And so I got a chance to meet this guy. He winds up later becoming a bank robber. Supposedly, he and his Dawson gang robs up to 100 banks. It's a heck of a story. But I wanted to capture just that little section about the son of a moonshiner. And this is based on a true story. Billy Ray Dawson is the man's name. He just passed away about a month ago. And it's a true story. Starts out at age 12. And the music video, it's cool. This is I love the music video around it. We actually have somebody that plays Buford Pussler. He's the guy that plays Buford Pussler is the actual sheriff now of McNairy County, Guy Buck. And we use some of the original cars from the movie. So it was exciting to be able to film all this and put it together. And we built a moonshine still just for it. So, and the jail scene that you see is the jail that we built for Hard Times in the Deep South. We actually had to build our own jail cells. Well, I do a lot of my own constructing for sets. So anyway, it kind of gives you a little bit of background on Son of a Moonshine.
I'm absolutely fascinated. You're right here at Galaxy. Here is Rick Revel and Son of a Moonshiner.
It's from Michael.
Oh, okay. Very, very cool. One of our promoters coming out of Orlando, Florida is tuned in right now. He goes, I like history. It's very cool. I'm listening on to the interview right now. So
Cool.
Yeah, and I must give a shout out to Jules Santabanez and also to Stephen Foster. Both of these guys have been promoting you for a little while now. They've been singing us a lot of your music.
Yule and Stephen both. They've been wonderful to me. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And they both do such a great job. They really do.
They do.
I've known Jill for a little while coming out of Nashville, and also I've known Stephen for a little minute now too. So we're very, very familiar with the quality that both of these people hold, and I'm very impressed with both of them. I really am. So very, very cool. Thank you, dudes. Thank you. Oh, dear. No, I'm not going to do that.
Do what?
My producers asked me if I was going to do the... No, I'm not going to.
All right, we'll leave it there.
Yeah, we'll leave it there. Believe me.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not a vegan by any chance, are you?
A vegan?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
No.
You see...
I was raised on a cattle farm, and I was raised to be a cowboy, so I'm not a vegan. And we hunt deer and.
For a number of years now, we've been doing this for about 11 years, to be very honest with you. And
Really?
we've been trying to come to the bottom of a myth. As I said, I like to, try and get into myths and stuff like this. And my producer says that you're going to do the myth thing, and I'm like, all right then. Seeing you're not a vegan, have you ever tried a vegan sausage?
A vegan sausage? No.
No. I'm trying to figure out whether they're made of real vegans or not.
I don't know. If you can get a vegan to stand still long enough.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean...
Yeah, you got to get a vegan to stand still long enough.
Yeah, you do. But yet again...
We'll leave it at that. I'll just make that the short one.
Well,
that'll be the short one.
You could give them a set of scissors and get them out the backyard. I'm sure they'll be able to find a meal out of that. They'll be standing still long enough.
But I will admit, I did one time, somebody had a tofu burger, however you pronounce it, tofu.
Tofu, yeah.
And Yeah, and I was sick for 3 days.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's this is not real. But there are people that love it, and I'm like, if it's something you enjoy and want to do it, and this is how you feel led, then do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, be your
Don't
own,
give it to me.
Yeah, exactly.
be your
Exactly.
own, be your own person.
Yeah, Barbara's worried about eating in India. We're going back there in the next couple of weeks. You know what I mean? She's going, oh my God.
It's spicy. It's spicy.
I know,
Oh,
I know.
we've been there.
We've been there. We know what we're looking at.
Been sick.
Thank you.
It'll curl your eyebrows. It curls my eyebrows anyway.
Okay.
Oh, is it crazy?
That's right. You're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. I stand corrected. I was going to give the guys a bit of stick, but no, it is actually on the end of that track. So believe me, I'll let them off that one. I'll put $1 in the swear box later and have a good go at it. In the meantime, today we're talking to Rick Revel, and believe me, I'm very, very fascinated with this man and very humbled to meet him as well, because believe me, very, very talented and has been around. He's learnt his trade very, very well, and not only that, he's a thespian, he's an actor, he's all facets of entertainment at the highest levels, I got to admit. Now, having said that, I've got to ask you, anything new in the can coming out in the near future?
New, it's kind of interesting. Make a long story short, I reached a portion of my career back in 2010. My mom and dad, I told you, living in the house where I was born on the farm. One thing that my mom and dad asked me to do is, son, when we get old and frail and we can't take care of ourselves, would you please do so? And it just worked out to where that's what wound up happening. I wound up going through a divorce, and from that, I came here to take care of my mom and dad for 5 years. That's all I did. I dropped out of the entertainment business to take care of mom and dad for that 5 years. 5 years prior to that, I'd been kind of part-time taking care of them, but they were still able to drive and get around. But then the last 5 years, neither one could drive. They were in and out of the hospitals. One time I had my dad in a hospital in one town, and then 2 hours away from that town, I had my mother in another hospital. So, and I'm trying to take care of both of them at the same time, and that will wear you out. So I did that for 5 years. So I had to restart my career. And that portion I told you about when I went to muscle shows to meet Jimmy Johnson and all that, that was me trying to make my comeback. I had written a book called In the Hills of Tennessee. I was promoting it. It started History Highway, and it has been a kind of a slow build. I fund everything myself, so I'm doing TV shows myself. I'm doing my music videos, which are on the level of film production. I mean, they're like making a Hollywood movie. I mean, it may be just 4 to 5 minutes in length, but there's tons of production. Watch Son of a Moonshiner. There's no borrowed footage. That's all stuff that I shot. Stuff that we did. So that's nothing borrowed from somewhere else. That's stuff that we did. So it's a lot of production value. And it all comes out of my pocket. Now, say that to say this. You ask about new. We recently went on the air on East Tennessee TV. And that's why I wound up at Rise Up Con, where I met Kevin Sorbo and his wife. Very, very nice people. And the people that run East Tennessee TV have actually pitched my TV show to Warner Brothers. Destination America is the channel that pitched it to. So I've never said it out in public until now. But you asked for something new. That's what we're working on. Will it happen? Who knows? It's like a long shot. I've been 5 times sitting in record company offices, and I've been this close 5 times to be on MCA records and Atlantic records, and somebody dies, somebody gets fired. I was one company, the last one. I was going to be Neil Diamond was going to be my label mate. He was doing a comeback career thing for himself, and the record label. I sit in their office on a Thursday, and we looked at the contract, and I said, "Well, I'm going to take it and let my lawyer look at it. We'll see you next Tuesday." So we set a follow-up appointment for Tuesday to do the signing and everything. The lawyer reviewed it, said, "Yeah, let's do it." So I go back on the Tuesday, and literally, Grant, when I walked in to the building, the door was locked, and the front door had a window. It was a big foyer hallway, and I could look inside the office. There was nothing in there. Desk was gone. Only thing in there was the telephone sitting in the floor.
Oh gosh, what a story.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
dear.
they were gone. They
Wow.
moved back to California. It was a California label. They moved back and never, and all the phone numbers disconnected. I never could make contact with them ever again. So 5 record labels. So is this thing going to happen with Warner Brothers? Who knows? Only the Lord knows. I put it in His hands. If it happens, that could be a life changer.
Well,
Be a life changer. But if not, I keep doing what I'm doing.
yep, absolutely, and I fully understand that. And please don't stop what you're doing. Believe me, you're very, very good, and I love playing your work here at Galaxy. Southern Man in a Strange Land. This is your most requested track too, by the way. And while I'm here, I want to give a shout out to Michael Zdanowitz from Galaxy Class Entertainments as well, who's tuned in right now, coming out of Orlando, Florida. Nice to have you on board, brother man. Southern Man in a Strange Land. Which land were you in at the time?
Crazy. Let me ask you a question, then I'll answer yours. You say it's the most requested. What is it about the song that makes it requested? Is it the message? Is it just the entirety of the song, the melody, the eerie sounds of it? Because it's got that swamp feel to it. What is it about the song that gets it requested?
Well, for me personally, I can't answer for everybody because, believe me, everybody is requesting it at the moment. 3,219 requests to date since we've been playing it. So it's not doing too bad. It's doing pretty good. But for me, to be very honest with you, I as an engineer, I like to try and reverse engineer how your engineer has put it together. You know what I think? Right. It's a bit of a curse. Yeah. All engineers do this. You know what I mean?
Right.
I like it. I like the backline deal here.
Yeah.
That's what gets me. Really, it is. And I think that's the hook for me. I'm not sure what it is for everybody else, but that, you know.
Right. But for you, and I get that. It's one of those songs. When I first sat down with Billy Lawson, we were actually, I had gone down to cut that Muscle Shoals sound and Father of the Blues, cut the first 2 songs because I had to piecemeal everything. Literally, I had to go, come back home, work, make some money, go back down and record. It took me nearly 2 years just to get the album done because I'm doing it one piece at a time. It's like Johnny Cash's song, one piece at a time, building that Cadillac, you know. And so I'm trying to build a career back because I've been out of it. And literally went bankrupt taking care of mom and dad. But that's what you do to take care of your parents. I mean, that's a given. You do what you have to do. But Billy said, and he knew of my Southern heritage and my love of the South. And he said, you know, you have a big following of people that love your Southern homegrown sound and feel. You need to write a song about the South. I said, well, crazy. I said, I've been thinking about it already. And so at this particular time in American history, and I try to keep politics out of what I do, but there's things, sometimes it just overlaps. It just overlaps life, period. And I'm seeing all these statues being torn down, and I'm seeing American history being wiped away and washed away and trying to be rewritten. And a whole new narrative is being told about what I'm a descendant, and my ancestors, some of them fought during the Civil War, and some of them fought for the South. And so I'm looking at their memoirs and the things they wrote about. And I'm thinking, wow. And so we have a statue in our hometown. It's called the Sentinel. And during all the riots that was going on, they wanted to come after our statue. Well, what that statue was, it was built and erected in the early 1900s, 1901 or 2, somewhere in that area. So it had been there a long time. It never hurt anybody. Never anybody had been injured with that statue being there. And the reason it was put there is because the boys that didn't make it home, and this is something very few people know, the county I come from is Henry County, Tennessee. It is the volunteer county of the volunteer state. Tennessee is called the volunteer state. Why is it called that? Because more men, now with the women, but we have more volunteers coming out of Tennessee that join the ranks of the military than any other state. And Henry County puts out more volunteers than any other county in the state, and there's 90 some odd counties. And so it's like, here's a statue, and the statue says, hey, I represent these boys that didn't make it home. And now we got people wanting to tear it down just because it offends them. And so that's where the song came from. And it's the music video. Once you watch it, it will help tell the story that all these statues coming down. And I made a prediction back in the 1990s, Grant. Prediction was, I had a newsletter I wrote called Reveille, Rick Revel's Wake Up Call to America. And in it, I said, if we do not protect Southern heritage, Southern symbols and emblems, if we do not protect those things, I said, eventually they'll start coming after the Stars and Stripes and everything else, including George Washington. And brother, I had people laugh at me in the 1990s. Oh, that'll never happen. Now they're taking down George Washington statues, Thomas Jefferson statues, Southern statues. And so, Southern man, I feel like I'm living in a strange land when I pull up to a courthouse and that statue that was there, it's no longer there. So I feel like a stranger sometimes. So that's the reason. That's Southern man in a strange land.
You're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, joined by Rick Revel. Rick, I don't like talking about politics at all, but I would really like to get your opinion. Do you think the Constitution is at risk right now?
Yes.
Yeah, I do too. I do too.
And it's been compromised.
Yes.
And honestly, I'm a dime store historian. I do not have a shingle on the wall. I did not take any education I'm probably the reason that I have done so well is I didn't get educated in some highbrow college somewhere. Mm-hmm. And I'm now invited to colleges to come and talk and speak. That's just very ironic. I've been going to Harding University for several years, to the American Studies Institute. But things started changing in American history. If you look back, we're off the air, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm
Okay.
still, hang on, I'll put it on pause. I'll put this on
Yeah,
pause.
Are we back on? Boom, look at that. We had some ads thrown in there. Gosh, what happens? You can't even get away from them, can you? Today, of course, we're talking to Rick Revel, and we're just about to wrap it up, so... That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. So very, very happy to have everybody on board this morning. It really is. And today, believe me, I have absolutely been loving the interview that I've done with Rick Revel coming out of Tennessee. And Rick, it's an absolute pleasure and an honour to meet you, sir. It really, really is. Once again, I want to give a big shout out to Jules Anabinez coming out of Nashville, also to Stephen Foster coming out of the UK as well, and also, Nick Please coming out of the UK, and our very good friend, of course, Michael Zdanowitz coming out of, yes, Orlando, Florida. Nice to have you guys on board. It really, really is. Today, we've been talking to Rick Revel, and I'm going to ask you, sir, will you come back again?
Oh, brother, I hope we can. I've enjoyed this. It's been a lot of fun. You've been a gracious host, and Miss Barbara, you've stayed in contact with me, and thank you for opening the doors. And Grant, appreciate the interview, and hopefully, we'll get a chance to come back and share some more songs.
Well, I would really, really love that. I really, really do. Much respect for you as an artist. I really, really do. I love your work. And I just have one more question to ask you. Now, I just got to say to you that over the next couple of weeks, Barbara and I are heading back to India, and we have a contract there to open up a number of radio stations. May I please have your permission to play your music on those playlists?
Yes, I think it'd be cool. Just make sure that they, as they play it, I just want to see the little wicker basket with the cobra. I want to see the cobra come out as they play my songs. I think that'd be pretty cool. I think it'd be kind of cool.
I want to actually bring one of those back, one of those baskets with the cobra and the flute, the whole deal, get one of those headdresses to go with it.
And I do want a flying carpet. That is this. I want a flying carpet. I know that's Aladdin.
No,
okay, but anyway.
That's Persian. I think that's Persian. That, close, but not quite the cigar.
I'm cross genres now, but anyway.
Something like that, but yeah, I want a flying carpet as well. Might save on air tickets, you never know. Rick, such a pleasure, sir. Please stay there. Don't go anywhere just yet, because the crew now are going to rush the monitors and take pickies of us and everything like that.
Oh, cool.
And we can talk about the... I'll see. Okay, Barbara wants me to talk to you about something as well. So in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today here at GAS, at galaxy107fm for GAS. And I'll be back on Monday. Please join me then between 5:30 in the morning and 10 for the breakfast show. Barbara will be back on Tuesday. Another interview as well. Keep an eye out for it. But in the meantime, have a very happy and successful weekend. From me, happy radio, everyone.